Are you trying to post on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, possibly Threads, X, Blue Sky, maybe even YouTube, and you're still wondering why you're burned out and not seeing results in your candle business? The truth is, more platforms doesn't equal more success. Today, I'm giving you permission to simplify and focus, and I'll explain why less is more when it comes to social media. Now, stick around to the end, and I'm going to give you something that will make creating and tracking your social media results a breeze. Hey everyone, it's Sebastian Garznet here, the co-founder of Garznet Beacon Candle Company and the founder of Candle Business Pro, where we help candle makers go pro. So today we are going to talk about, in this episode, social media. Now, social media, I used to love. I used to be on, I'm aging myself now, I used to be on MySpace, where we had our top 8 friends. Then I graduated on to Facebook, when you used to actually have to have a college login, college email to have a login on Facebook, and then they opened it up to the public several years later. I remember when social media was fun. In fact, social media used to be my calendar. I used to go to social media to see what events are coming up this week, this weekend, this month, and I would plan accordingly around there. We would have, college parties, and we would have invites on there. Our family groups would be on there, so we would know when we were doing family activities, reunions, things like that. And then businesses started to come onto social media, and then work functions. So we would have work functions that would have an invite. We would send that out to anyone that was following the page that was employees. We would have different groups, things like that, on social media. Now, Facebook was obviously the big one after. MySpace is no longer around. Many of you may not even know what MySpace is, but it is no longer around. And now we have Facebook and Instagram. We have TikTok. We have Twitter that turned into X. We have Blue Sky, which is now competing with X. Pinterest is another one that we don't think about as social media, but there is a lot of engagement out there. You even have YouTube. You have podcasts. All of these are media platforms for us to engage on. And this is where businesses are now starting to connect with their customers and their potential clients. That's why we're seeing the ads on all of these platforms now. As we're scrolling, we're getting so many ads in our feeds. And that is because it's become such a huge way for businesses to get new customers. So today I want to talk about why being everywhere isn't helping to grow your business. Now, if you are one that has a lot of time on your hand and you want to attempt to be on all the different platforms, I would still recommend starting with only a couple. When you're dividing your time, your energy, and your creativity across too many channels, you're not being consistent where it matters most. And being consistent matters more than just being present. So it's not about, I need to just go and post everywhere because I haven't posted in a couple days. So let me hurry up. Let me create something and throw it out there on all the platforms. The algorithms are going to reward depth and engagement far more than just your scattered post. We've been at this for 3 years now, and we see when we just throw something out there onto the platforms and then we feel good, like, okay, we got one out. So now we've got, another 72 hours, another 3 days before we have to post again. So we're caught up, right? Our engagement on those posts, because our effort isn't in there, because we're not putting enough time and energy into creating quality posts. So the engagement is really low. The likes are low, the comments are really low, the shares are really low. So if that is happening, then it's not doing anything to grow our business. So I highly, highly recommend scaling way back on social media. Most customers are only going to follow you on 1, 2 platforms, maybe. They're definitely not going to be on all 4 or 5. It's just not necessary because your customers aren't going to be there. So one of the things that we want to make sure to avoid is burning out from overposting. So not only when we're rushed or feeling like we're really behind, we're just throwing content out there that ends up not being engage worthy, where the algorithm is not going to reward us. but your content will be noticeably forced or noticeably rushed. We see now where people are using ChatGPT, which I'm a big fan of ChatGPT. It can really help our business grow. Automation, I think, is fantastic, but we see too many people now. You can see the signs where they had ChatGPT or AI create their social media post, and they didn't put their spin on it to make it feel like themselves. You see the same words in a lot of Instagram, Facebook, social media posts. You see a lot of emojis in a lot of these posts. You see right now the hot thing is the M dash and N dash, which are those little things that they're dashes that kind of look like long hyphens. And that is a thing that AI, ChatGPT specifically, is putting in a lot of their results. So now you're seeing this in everyone's feed to where oh, ChatGPT wrote that, and customers are going to recognize that, and they're not going to feel nearly as connected to you. So don't rush out your content. Make sure that you are spending time posting rather than just throwing stuff out there. If you're spending more time posting than actually building your business, that's going to be another sign of burning out. To avoid burning out, make sure to try to find the right platform for you. Consider your strengths. That's one of the things that we do. We know what we're not good at, right? We know we're not good at creating short form video. We are not on TikTok for that reason. We got on there very briefly. It's learning a new technology, right? They don't all operate the same. And in fact, they all seem to change very consistently. One day it is all about posting reels on Instagram, and then it's stories. Sometimes you can link things, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you need to have multiple images in a carousel. Sometimes it's only just one image. Sometimes it's a video. So it's always going to be evolving and changing. So it is good to stay on top of the trends, look around, see what others in the space are doing. If there are other candle businesses that you kind of want to emulate, that you draw inspiration from how they're operating, go and see what they're doing. Go and see what those businesses that actually have a budget to put towards marketing. They may, in fact, have a whole brand team, a whole marketing division of their business. Go and see what they're doing, because they're going to have experts in those particular areas that we can kind of learn off of and piggyback off of those ideas and turn that into inspiration for us within our own business. So that's what I would definitely recommend doing. So consider what your strengths are. Are you good at doing videos? Do you enjoy doing videos? So if you are, TikTok is fantastic for that. Blue Sky is for those that want to go in depth with engaging and having conversations with people. Instagram is really good for the image post. It's all about the imagery on there, right? We're scrolling and we're not reading nearly as much on Instagram as we are viewing, whether it's an image or a video. And then Facebook is kind of like that original. It's like that OG of social media, where it is still very, very popular. It's it's losing a little bit of traction just because other social medias are taking some traction away from it, which it's a competitive space. That's going to happen. But I absolutely don't see it going anywhere. They have the money, the funds to make sure that they're staying on top of everything. Quite frankly, if they are worried about losing steam, that's what they end up doing, is they'll buy another company, right? Instagram was purchased by Facebook back in the day. Threads was purchased by Facebook now. So they will buy out the competitors and then try to make it to the best that they can while keeping us inside of this meta world. Okay. So consider our strengths. If you like video, stick with video. If and stick to the TikToks. If you want to go long form, YouTube isn't necessarily a selling platform or engaging with customers necessarily. So I wouldn't consider YouTube a place to try and operate your social media for your candle business. Now, we have a YouTube channel for our Gardenet Beacon Candle Company brand, but that's just to host some videos that we actually put onto our Shopify store, right? Onto our website. We have a video header and it needs to live somewhere. So we'll throw it out there on YouTube just for that reason. But we are not attempting to solicit new business or engage with our candle brand out on YouTube. We do Facebook. That is where our customer is. We have to think about where our audience is. So that's what, we want to consider our strengths. If you're good at video, TikTok's great. If you like to write, Facebook is good. Threads is good. If you are all about the imagery, if you have a fantastic looking brand, you can do Instagram really, really well. We do okay across our social media. I don't think that we're great at any of it. So we aren't the experts in creating content. We know what to create. We know how to create it, but there is going to be that time factor that we'll talk about that here in a little bit. So think about where your audience is. Who is your audience? If you don't know who your audience is, we need to pause and we need to back up and think, who are we making candles for? Are you making candles for a customer that ideally would be on TikTok and those trending type of platforms? Or like us, we know where our customer is. Our customer is Facebook. It's a little older demographic. They've been around for a while as far as on social media goes. The demographics of Facebook and even Instagram are an older demographic than some of the new players in the space. So just keep that in mind. Dive in and figure out who your customer is. Because if you don't know who your customer is, you're not going to know how to find them. Pinterest is a new platform. It's not a new platform, but more and more businesses are finding opportunity out on Pinterest. So depending on who your customer is, Pinterest could be a fantastic opportunity for you. So think about your customer. Where are your customers most likely hanging out? And in fact, just ask your customer. Ask your whether you're out at markets, whether you already have an email addresses being collected or not. Ask your customer, where are you? Where are you hanging out at? Poll them. See what they tell you. Where are they coming from? If you have Google Analytics, so right now, if you're on too many platforms and you're not sure which ones to cut out, but you're feeling overwhelmed and you want to cut out, go and look at your Google Analytics and see, where is your website's traffic coming from most? Is it from your posts on TikTok or on Instagram or Facebook, Pinterest? Where are they coming from to where they're landing on your website? That's how you're going to know where the majority of your customers are at least engaging. It's one thing to post on, say, TikTok and get tons of views and likes and shares. And I see people mention that they've received over like 1 million views. One of their videos has gone viral. Well, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Like that's super exciting. But is it resulting in anything for your business? And that's what's key. Are they liking and sharing it, or are they liking, sharing it, and actually going and checking out your website? Because that is what's going to be important. Just going viral, it's kind of like doing press and PR. We talk inside of the inner circle, our community, about how to get press and how to get PR, and we share the stories and the examples and the actual emails, like how we got into Oprah Daily and how we got into Parade Magazine recently, and then how we get like just local news coverage all the time. And are you doing it to go viral? Are we doing it to share and say, hey, look, I got into this magazine? Or is getting into that magazine actually driving business to our website and getting new customers into our space? That's the ultimate goal, right? Because we're running a business here. We need to sell candles. So make sure that the social media platform that you choose to be on is one that the efforts that you put into it is getting customers out of it, right? We can certainly grow our audience on TikToks or Threads or some of these newer, I want to say newer, even though they've been around for several years as far as TikTok goes. But if it's not your customer, that's something to consider. And if we're burning out from social media, we need to scale back, then let's cut those out and let's focus just where they are. On the other hand, if you are making super trendy products that do really, really well on TikTok, then maybe Facebook isn't a place that you need to go. It is fascinating when you see some of these brands, even the difference between Instagram and Facebook. Now, if you go to both of our pages on Instagram and Facebook, you're going to notice our follower count, our engagement, things like that are pretty similar. We're going to get about the same amount of likes when we make posts and engagement, comments, and things on both of those platforms. But I will go and see other brands that they will have, a couple thousand followers on Facebook, but then they'll have like 100,000 on Instagram because they just do really, really well there. So lean into your strengths and cut out the ones that might not be doing as well when you're feeling burnt out and you need to just scale back. This needs to be manageable, not draining you. So test them out. If you're brand new, if your brand is brand new, test it out. You're not going to know until you give it a try. So if you have an idea of where your customers are, give it a try. See the results that you're getting, post on all of them for a month, and then you can go back and analyze that data and say, hey, you know what? We grew this much on this platform. This many people liked, commented, engaged. This many people clicked from this platform and went to our website. Again, because that's ultimately where we want them to go. So let's think about that. Okay, so now that we have the idea which platforms that we want to be on, whether you've decided on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, Pinterest, wherever you decided, now we have to decide what to post. And that is where a lot of us also get hung up on. We're posting about candles. How many possible posts can we create about candles, right? So we've actually broken this down into 4 different content pillars for you. In fact, you're going to be able to download this on our website at candlebusinesspro.com/social media. I have this guide out there for you that you can download that we've created. It's completely free. So feel free to go out and get that. The link was also going to be in the show notes below. So you can go and click on that. Go out there and download that. It's going to be completely free. And in fact, I'm actually going to include a content calendar. So what we like to do is we like to batch our content for an entire month. Just go ahead and get it all made and scheduled so that we don't feel like we're rushing to get content out there. So you can go out and download that from us completely free. Again, candlebusinesspro.com/social media. And that can be yours there. So again, it's going to be in the show notes below as well. So, all right, what are the 4 different content pillars? So the first one is going to be inspirational content. Now, this is going to be content that emotionally connects with your customers. Share your why, share personal stories, behind the scene moments or encouragement. Share that part of your business with your customers so that it really connects with them. An example would be, let's say, a post about how candle making has helped you through burnout, or how you were exhausted with your 9-to-5 job and that you got into candle making and then you finally left that 9-to-5 job. So that's going to be something inspirational for you to post. Okay, so that's going to be the first content pillar. The second content pillar is going to be education. Teach your customers about something that they didn't know. You need to position yourself as an authority, as the expert in candle making, so that they know when they need candles, home fragrance products, whether you're doing wax melts, room sprays, whatever you're making, they know that there's going to be quality behind it, that you are the expert. So this is going to be things that we're sharing, such as the making sure that you're trimming your wick every time before you light your candle, how to avoid your candle from tunneling, right? That's a big common thing that happens with a lot of candles. Teach and educate your customers on how to avoid these things is going to position yourself as the expert. So that's another way to position yourself there. Another one would be when you're selecting a brand new scent. Whenever you are getting, let's say, your fall line of candles together, and we know that, let's say, vanilla scents need to be really popular. Let's look and see what all the different suppliers are coming out with, and you're going to find some trends, right? Generally, the trends in the candle space are going to follow what is really popular in the perfume space, right? Anytime some of these top designers in the perfume space come out with a new scent, you start to see some very similar, or in fact, dupes of those scents in the candle fragrance space. Vanilla was popular this past year. It's been really popular. So it's been popular in the perfume space, and it's again popular in the candle fragrance oil space. So I know that this coming fall, vanilla scented candles are going to be really popular. So I can make content posts on social media about that, about how vanilla is going to be hot for the season and some different blends that I'm trying to create for them now. That's also going to create anticipation for them. When they see, oh, you are the expert in this, you know that vanilla is going to be trendy, and you are already blending different vanilla scents together to see what you can come up with. I'm starting to get excited about this, and it's months away, but we are posting content that's positioning us as the expert in the space. So that is this second content pillar, which is education. So the next content pillar is going to be informational. This is the information that we want to share about our products. Hey, they're coming. They are in the process of being made. And then when they are released, we're selling it. We are posting about this consistently when we are in that selling phase. And that is informational content. We want to decide on a launch date. Then you want to work backwards. You want to have a tease phase. You want to have a prep phase. You want to have a planning phase. And you can share information with your customers about all of these different phases of your launch. So, in fact, inside of the Inner Circle, we actually just did a workshop on planning out your product launches for the entire year, for all your seasonal candles, for all of your one-offs, so which is going to be like your Mother's Day, your Valentine's Day, a Halloween candle, July 4th candle, all of those one-offs, all of our seasonals, all of our candles of the month. We actually did a whole workshop on how to plan everything out so you know exactly what to be doing in your business on what date. And what we do is we decide on that launch date, and then you work backwards. And again, you go through the teasing phase, the prep phase, the planning phase, the strategy phase. All of those areas you can be sharing content with your customers. And this is going to be that informational content. Our Fireside Bourbon candle is back. It'll be here on Friday. That would be an informational post. And then when it goes on sale, and then whenever you're running a sale or you're running a promotion, think Black Friday, Cyber Monday, those type of things. Those are going to be those informational content pieces that we got to share with our customers. Now, the last one is going to be cultural. Let your audience get to know you and your brand on a human level. Share some behind the scenes that this is your life, that this is your work, this is your pride, this is your joy. An example would be share a reel of you labeling your candles while you're watching TV at night with your family, letting them know, hey, like this is a home-based business and this is reality. This is my life. This is my pride and joy. I'm spending time with my family. I'm helping, I'm getting them involved. But I'm also running this business to put these fantastic candles into the hands of my customers. So letting them know the real you. I often will share because we're posting all the time from our store and how much we're working and we're creating new products and how we're serving our customers. I also want to share a little bit of, hey, we took the weekend off. Hey, we went on vacation. Sharing things about your personal life with your customers is going to make them feel more connected. So that would be the fourth pillar of content. It's going to be that cultural content. So I would highly recommend doing that. It puts a person behind the business. Another example that I always want to share with people and hopefully they'll do is on your website, make sure that you have an About Us section and it has a picture of you making candles or of you in a hobby that when they see this photo, they know who they're buying from, that you're not just another candle brand out there, that you're not just trying to take money and sell them something, that you are a human, you are doing this, and they will know who they're supporting then. They want to feel connected with who they're spending their money with. And you're going to be able to do all of this through these cultural content posts right now. So let's talk about some of the examples that we run in our business. Okay. So we post consistently to Facebook and Instagram. Like I said, we tried TikTok. That just wasn't our thing. And it's also not where our customer is. Now, are we losing out on sales? We possibly are losing out on a little bit of sales by not being on TikTok, not being on X or Threads or any of that. But there's also an energy level that we are conserving. We can only do so much. And so we have to be mindful about where we're at. Again, so circling back to what we spoke about earlier, be mindful of where you are at and what you have the capacity to do. Don't feel like you have to be everywhere. Try all the platforms, figure out what you like, what you don't like, but there's going to be some things that you want to track. So let's talk about what we should track versus just being everywhere. Or if you're going to be everywhere, if you're just starting out and you're just saying, hey, you know what, Sebastian, I don't know who my customer really is. I think I have this niche, but I'm not quite sure where they're hanging out at. Okay, then let's spend the next month posting on all the platforms that you can handle, but let's make sure that we analyze the data afterwards. So use the content calendar that I'm giving to you for free. Again, that's at candlebusinesspro.com/social media. Go and get that content calendar. Plan out your entire month of posts. Post those on all the platforms, and then let's look at the data. Let's see, what are the engagement rates, the likes, the saves, the shares, the comments. See where it's working and where it's not working at, okay? So then you're gonna know, where am I gonna focus more attention to? Oh, let's keep feeding into where it's working. If you can continue to post on multiple platforms when you really don't know where your customer is, sure, do that. But you're gonna get to a point where you're not gonna be able to post on all of them, because what's gonna happen is when you see the engagement, let's for an example, let's see what the engagement is on Instagram. And you're getting, multiple likes and comments and shares of what you're posting there. Instead of using energy out on TikTok or Facebook or another platform where you're not getting any engagement, you want to use the place that you're getting the engagement and double down on that and keep posting there more and more and more, because that's what is drawing you're connecting with someone there, right? Again, every platform is used by a different demographic. There's going to be some crossover, but there's going to be a lot of differences between the people on the different platforms. If you ask someone what platform you're on, they're generally not going to say, I'm on all 7 or 8 of them, right? They're going to be like, I'm a little bit here, I'm a little bit here, but I'm mainly here. That mainly here, that's where we want to be if that's our customer. So check the engagement rate. Whatever the highest platforms engagement rates are, again, that's going to be your likes, your saves, your shares, your comments. If you are using the meta platforms, so you're using Instagram, Facebook, they have the business manager out there, the business suite, they call it now, I believe. They have a whole professional dashboard in there. They tell you what's working. They tell you what to do more of. Like they will literally like say, hey, you should post more of this. Hey, you have not shared a reel this week. Post a reel. Like they will tell you what to do, which is going to feed right back into their algorithm and get your post in front of more people. So let them guide you. It's fantastic that they have that now. They've really come around and have really started giving us, it used to be a secret. You used to try all different types of things and you would just kind of have to figure out why it worked. Was it because I was doing this in the video or was it because I was doing that? Now Instagram will and Facebook together inside of the business suite will tell you what they want you to do, as far as you should post a story, you should post a reel, you should post on Facebook. You haven't done that in a while. You should add more people to your business page from your friend page. Like it will tell you what to do, and it will also show you charts of what's working well. So dive into that. I imagine that Pinterest, TikTok, the Blue Sky, the Threads, all of those will also give you some very similar engagement rates in detail. So check that and look at that. Also look and see again on your Google Analytics, if you have that set up. If you don't, I highly recommend doing it. It's very easy. If you're using Shopify, under Shopify, or just in the top of Shopify, in a little search bar in the middle of the back end there, if you just type in Google, it'll pull up Google's platform, and you can make sure that you can connect your Google Analytics that way. So I'm not going to go into details on how to do that because it's always changing, but you can certainly search that also here, on YouTube if you want. But inside of your Shopify, it will have the step-by-step direction on how to do that. If you connect your Google Analytics to your website, which you definitely should, because you want to track not only what I'm about to discuss, but also you want to track how your SEO and things are working, what kind of organic posts are searches are leading to your website. So making sure Google Analytics is set up, then you can see where people are coming from. When I go and look at my Google Analytics, I can see, oh, this amount of people came to my website from Facebook. So they saw a post on Facebook, they clicked on it, it took them to my website. This many people came from this platform. So it's really important to have that set up so that you can look at the data. I know some of us aren't big into data, but if you don't look at the data, you won't know what's working or what's not working. And then you're just going to continuously and aimlessly post on all 8 platforms, right? What if you could go from 8 platforms down to 2 and actually end up having more sales because you have more energy to put into just those 2 platforms? So that's why I would love for you to do this. So the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to social media in this episode is that social media is a great discovery tool. It is a fantastic way to get new people to discover your brand, to start to follow you, to start to fall in love with you and your brand, and then to become customers. But the goal is to build a relationship off of the platform. Let me say that again. The goal is to build a relationship off of that social media platform. Whether they're finding you on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Pinterest or Blue Sky, or no matter what the platform is, the ultimate goal that we should all have is to go deeper with them off of the platform. And we do this by collecting their email addresses. So an email list is something that you own, not the social media platform. The algorithms are always changing on social media. In fact, like I said, Instagram and Facebook is where we are posting. That is where our customer is. But even now, it's very tough for our posts to get in front of our customers unless we want to put a little bit of money behind boosting them, right? Because that's how they make money, is off of ads. And so we are a business, we have a business page. They want us to run business ads to get our posts in front of more people. Even our own people aren't seeing our posts. It's one thing to take a look at, no matter what platform you're on. When you look at how many of your followers are actually seeing your posts, that'll kind of open our eyes up to what these social media platforms are doing. For an example, we have, let's say, 3,000 people that follow us on Facebook. When I make a post and I look, now not every post is going to land with your customer. That's why I encourage you to do an entire month worth of posts out there. And again, you can get that social media content planner out on our website at candlebusinesspro.com/social media, or in the notes below. Just click on that. Do your post for an entire month and then see which posts are working. So you're going to know what is connecting with your customers, but still look at those posts versus how many people are already following you. We'll have, let's say, as an example, 3,000 people following us. So 3,000 people are interested in our brand. Hopefully they are customers, or they're going to become customers. When I make a post, 100, 200, maybe 300, which would be 10% of 3,000 people, end up actually seeing that post, whether it's the time of day or whether it is the actual content itself. Did I do a video versus just a normal image post? Was it a lot of content? Was there a lot of text involved in that? You're going to want to analyze all of that and see what's working, what's not working. But even whatever's working the best, you're still going to see that only a fraction of your followers tend to see them. And that's because they want us to spend money on ads. So think about that and realize that, hey, if I want to connect at a much higher percentage with these customers, I want to have their email address. I want to be able to email and connect and stay in touch with them no matter what the social media platform does. You might end up getting your account banned on accident on Facebook or Instagram, or I guess any of them, TikTok, any of them. You can get your account banned on accident. We've all heard nightmare stories about how just all of a sudden it just went away. I went away. I couldn't log in anymore. It just disappeared. There's some malfunction and it's gone. What are you going to do? If you don't have these people's email address, you're not going to be able to continue the conversation with them. So I encourage everyone to start an email list, whether you are out selling at markets, whether you're doing fundraisers, or you're on social media. Get them off of social media onto your website to collect their email address. So make sure that you have a pop-up or some other mechanism in place to collect their emails. Now, I go deeper in that in other videos on what works on your website and what doesn't. You got to make sure it's something that's going to be appealing for them. But collecting email addresses and being able to stay in contact with your customer off of social media is going to be huge. I can't stress that enough. You want to get email addresses. Make that your priority. One last thing I want to mention about email addresses is when we need an influx of cash into our candle business. We need, hey, we have this big expense. We need to buy new computers, or hey, our melters went out. We got to buy something, right? Or we just haven't run a promotion in a while and we want to have that injection of cash come into our business. We're going to post on social media, of course. All of our sales that we're going to do, any of the promotions, we're going to post those on social media. But we're also sending emails out for all the stuff that we're doing. And it tracks on our emails what the results are, right? So I know if I need to put an extra $500 to $1,000 into my business today, the easiest and most effective way for me to do that is going to be to send an email out. If I send an email out to my email list today saying, hey, one day only, 25% off store wide, I am going to get quite a few orders. Now, if I go and post that on social media, there's going to be some people that are going to see it. But again, 10% of people are going to maybe that follow my page are going to see that post. So unless I'm going to put some ad spend behind that post, not nearly everyone's going to see it. So I'm not going to get nearly the results that I will when I send out emails. So that should be our ultimate goal, is to collect people's email addresses. As we wrap up this episode, I want to challenge you. Let's this week choose one platform and let's focus on just that platform this week. Let's commit to showing up with intention. That means planning out our post, scheduling our post, and then posting them, and not rushing and doing those last minute like happens to the best of us, right? So try posting from each of those 4 pillars that we discussed today, so that you have variety and you're not stressing about what to post. Go and download that social media content calendar and the PDF with the 4 pillars at candlebusinesspro.com/social media. And if you want extra support, you want strategy, you want accountability, come join us in the inner circle. That's at candlebusinesspro.com/inner circle. Again, you can get all of this in the show notes below. Thanks for listening. And remember, it's not about doing it all. It's about doing what matters most with the time and energy that we have. Thank you so much. Take care.